Hello guys and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the upcoming Star Wars Battlefront game, my experiences that I had in the closed alpha, and some worries I have about it before it comes out. So to kind of sum the video up in a nice little package, I'm going to be going over my general impressions of the game, my impression of the direction that DICE are taking this, and introducing a radical theory that ties it into being the sequel to Farmville. So first, I'd like to start off on a lighter note and a few things I love about the game. As you can see, the visuals are stonking. I would fuck a donkey before I ever say a bad word about them. They look incredible. It is one of the best, if not the best looking game out there right now, in my opinion. Just look at it. And it was absolutely incredible when I was playing the closed alpha, because on my PC, Star Wars Battlefront, the closed alpha, ran better than Battlefield 4. Now this was hugely surprising, because my graphics card is pretty much a potato right now, because my GTX 970 is still in the post. Thank you AMD. And now, although I didn't know the exact FPS I was getting, because I didn't want to run recording software in case they thought I was recording the closed alpha, which we weren't allowed to do, my frames were definitely above 40. And now another aspect of the game which is absolutely flawless is the sound design. DICE at their best again. Just listen to this thermal imploder. Yep, I just did a no-no in my trousers, and I'm gonna put a diagram on screen of what effectively just happened to my monitor. Anyway, you can see and hear my point. I mean, DICE are obviously creating this game, so we kind of already knew that graphics and audio were gonna be amazing, but hey. I also liked how in the Walker Assault mode that we played in the closed alpha, which by the way is the same map and game mode as the gameplay showing now from the E3 reveal, in the way they've implemented the ground vehicles and the way they've balanced it so that none of the vehicles are on rails apart from the AT-80. Because the other ones aren't really game changers, whereas obviously the AT-80 is an integral part of the game mode, and if someone fucked off the Asda in it to pick up a packet of cookies and some curly whirlies, it would just completely ruin the balance of the game, because the Empire side will be balanced in accordance with the fact that the AT-80 will be fighting alongside them, so I feel like it was a really good choice. Now, in the closed alpha version that we played, there were only 4 primary weapons you could choose from, the same 4 weapons on both sides, plus 1 rocket launcher that you could equip via one of the player cards on the bottom right hand side of the screen. And now, I don't want to comment on this yet, because it's not very representative of the final game. They're obviously going to continue adding things, so at the moment in time, I don't want to really talk about it, so let's move on. So we know that DICE are going for an arcadey feel, which is in line with the rest of the Battlefront series, and now people of my generation, that is what we kind of grew up loving when we used to play the Battlefront games, because it was so accessible, so easy to pick up and just get in an awesome situation without having to be good at the game. And now I feel like a lot of people from my current age are disappointed because they've grown up, they're now more mature, they were expecting kind of in their minds a more mature take on Battlefront, but actually that's not what happened, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I just think that's why a lot of people, before they really played the game, are really doubting the arcadiness. What I can say is I'm from that generation. I am one of the people who is a little bit disappointed it's not a more mature approach on the game, but I still did really enjoy it. And now a great example of this is the aiming required in this game is not that great, as in you don't have to be very accurate to hit someone. It's very generalized shooting. Your crosshairs are actually quite big a lot of the time, and there's not really much, or I can't remember, I don't think there's much or any real sway when you're firing the weapon. The recoil is pretty minimalistic apart from the heavy MG light machine gun styled weapon, so it really is just kind of spamming that shooting button. And now, of course, I have to talk about the aerial combat. Oh dear. That is just my overall consensus of the aerial combat in Star Wars Battlefront. Now, yes, the previous games didn't have the roll ability, but I think it's time to ditch that mechanic. I hate it so much. There's there is literally no skill involved in the fact that you can't roll the aircraft. There's buttons to do maneuvers. I hate that so much. They even do it in games fully orientated around aircraft. I think that ruins pretty much the point of flying an aircraft. And I did not like it at all. The controls in the aircraft I found very clunky. It was pretty hard to aim even with mouse and keyboard. And I just was not a big fan at all. In addition to that, in the cockpit view, the kind of head bob that you have inside the cockpit that would relay kind of you have feeling a turning effect and feeling the G-forces as you were turning in the aircraft is very minimalistic, and therefore instead of feeling like you're in a cockpit, you feel like you're sitting with a selfie stick coming out of your chin. Someone stuck a cockpit on the front of it and you're just staring at it, and you don't really get the sensation that you're flying. That really annoys me. In addition to that, the in-game optics are also very annoying. For example, if you zoom into a scope, instead of, say, in Battlefield, let's just imagine you are zooming into an ACOG scope, it blurs the edge of your screen, and then you have like a depth of field effect, and then you look through the scope. Whereas in Star Wars Battlefront, it does your entire screen is now the scope thing, with no kind of general awareness. That is not good. I do not like that at all. And now 2 other topics I'd like to quickly comment on before we move on to the Farmville comparison theory is the fact that rather than spawning in the vehicles, 1, they're like battle pickups that you run into and then select, and 2, once you're in them you can't get out. I don't understand that. To me that is just not a good idea, and I don't really like it at all. I don't know whether it's to stop people just getting in the vehicles and then jumping out when they get to where they want to go, and then you know, in the time that vehicle has to respawn, that team's then at a say air power deficit. I don't know whether it's to cover that, but the spawn thing to me is just silly, and I don't like it. And now finally, when you are wrapping the rope around the legs of the AT-80 using the Rebel spaceship, I'm sorry I can't remember what it's called at this moment in time, it's actually kind of like a mini game, which obviously suits the arcadey version of the game, but once again, I'm just not a big fan. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it's theory time. Oh yeah. Okay, so the first point I have to make in this radical theory is that Farmville and Star Wars Battlefront could both be played straight out of the womb. They're that easy to pick up. Reason number 2. They both have arcadey styles of play, and both would be considered quite casual games. Reason number 3. They both contain microtransactions or DLC. I mean, come on, it's EA. Reason number 4. They're both first-person shooters. Okay, maybe not. I challenge you to find someone more satisfied than that with their chicken. Oh yes. But if you disagree with me and think Star Wars Battlefront does not resemble Farmville in any way, go fuck yourself. Just joking, comment down below. So guys, I've obviously just been messing about a little bit in this video whilst voicing some actual concerns and some things that I actually like about the game. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and by the way, the Act of Valor cinematic trailer is coming. I've been editing it since March. It's been pretty on and off. I've had things to do. I mean, I've had to edit things like this in between just to keep myself sane from editing the same thing week on week. Makes you go fucking nuts. But that will hopefully be out soon. No timeline for it, but I'm working hard and I'll do my best. So guys, that's it. All there's really left to say is thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your continued support. And as always guys, take it easy.